All right. What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Happy Monday. I don't even know why I say that. People listen to this, I'm sure, not only on Mondays, but either way.
Maybe they're patiently waiting for every Monday for you to release this podcast to the world. Who knows?
Oh, I'm sure. So today we're talking about a little bit about retention, but really what we're getting at is building a clientele.
Yes.
So I was looking through our podcast statistics, and it's like, when and how to raise prices and building a clientele. Building a clientele, get unstuck in your career, Empire State of Mind, which is, I think, on marketing and
The
building
most
clientele.
popular.
Yeah. So those are really popular, sort of. There's a bunch more, but those ones seem to kind of stand out, and they're downloaded more. And even the older episodes that are over a year old are still getting downloads.
Wow.
So it's cool, but I was like, what can we do with that information? Because if you're not looking at information and trying to leverage it to give you, something else, it's like when you look at a profit and loss, you can tell, the direction of your business, but being able to look at the lines and know why each one was higher or lower,
Right.
and dig in a little bit, is even more valuable. So I just figured we could jump on and talk. I hate that term. I don't know why I just used it. Hey guys, just want to jump on. I thought we could cover sort of a few ideas and maybe just kind of brainstorm for people that are building a clientele, or I guess building a clientele.
Or frustrated because they're not building a clientele.
Okay. So, or maybe that they're frustrated or whatever. I don't know. So where do we want to start? The first thing I have a point, unless you have something.
Nope. Go ahead.
So the easiest way to build a clientele is to focus on the people that are already in your chair.
Yes.
And
Maybe you should say that one more time for the people in the back. Because I think people focus on the people that aren't in their chair, and they're not valuing those that are actually picking and coming to them over and over. And they're looking at all their dead spots in their day, which I call like the Swiss cheese model. And they're so focused on like everything that they're not getting, or everything that they think they're not serving, every person they think they're not serving. And if that's you and you're resonating with what I'm saying, literally what Todd just said is where you should be focusing on. Who is coming to see you? And do you like those people? Because if you do, those are the people you focus on to get more of those people that are like-minded, and you grow a clientele of people you actually want to work with, and you look forward to going to work. And before you know it, it doesn't feel like work. It's just fun because you're servicing all these people that you enjoy their personalities and their conversations, and you get to do their hair. Like, it's freaking magical.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And it's such an undervalued piece of the puzzle, I think, because you are right. It's so much, our brains are wired to look at the negative, and they're wired that way from like just through our DNA, right? We're always trying to identify what could possibly hurt us. It's your nervous system's flight or fight sort of mechanism. And we've just evolved as a species, not to get crazy, but to identify dangers, because that's when we were hunter-gatherers, right? We had to watch out for predators and stuff. So I think it's just in us to look at the negative. And if you can flip your mindset, which is actually kind of funny, because the next group, the next most popular group of podcasts is like our mindset podcast. Yeah. It's stuff where we talk about mindset. But if you can flip that and you can start to invest in what you have, you will build. If you constantly just look at what you don't have, you will not build. You may by default, if you sit somewhere, we've had people at our salon in the past that have just sat there for 2 years, and by default they built. But I don't think it has to take that long for people that are like, if you have that much downtime, you shouldn't have that much downtime, if that makes sense. You should be filling that.
Because you can fill it with so many things. Yes. And I mean, we're lucky we live in a time where there's a lot of things you can do that cost you nothing to help build that. It's really pretty amazing. It's just utilizing your downtime and taking advantage of it, and considering it a time where you have to do work on your business, it's not always working on clients, right? And that might help you
Yeah.
get more clients and work on building your clientele.
Right. And the other thing that I see that holds people back is that they focus on they don't take accountability. And I don't remember if it was last week or the week before that I posted. No, it was maybe a few weeks back, but I posted a podcast. You weren't on it, and it was about accountability. And when you
Mhm.
start to take accountability for yourself, the magic can happen. If you
Yes.
sit around, say you're working for someone in a salon and you're sitting around saying, well, you know, Susie, the owner, she doesn't do anything for me. She should be
Mhm.
getting me clients. Okay, you're
Right.
deflecting. The point
Yeah.
is, you should, if you have the downtime, you should be doing all sorts of things, experimenting, trying to figure out what resonates. And where we're saying to begin with that is with who you do have.
Correct.
For
I see so
example, go
often.
ahead.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
So often the blaming everyone else. It's their fault. It's
Yeah.
their fault. It's insane the amount of things that people can blame that have actually no real value onto what you're actually trying to do. So I think if you're a blamer, the first thing is to look at yourself. If your owner Susie, you don't feel like is doing enough, rather than just blame Susie behind her back into anyone else around, go to Susie and be like, what can we do to help me build? What are you doing to help me to build? And what should I be doing? Like that is more of a solution to your problem, because then you can start to truly do the building part, which I think is where you were going.
I was actually going to go into, I call like touch points, but that's a great
Oh,
point
yeah.
too. It's just, it all comes back to that, starting with the accountability is making a decision. Like, are you building your clientele? Yes or no? And then what steps are you taking in order to make that happen? And you can make mistakes, make tons of mistakes, make all the fucking mistakes. It doesn't matter. As long as you're trying to progress, you will
Mhm.
progress. And when
Yes.
we talk about, for example, people that are already in your chair. So say you have this client and give me a name, Ashley. So Ashley comes in and
Hey,
she
Ash.
what give me a service that Ashley gets. Just pick something, whatever you want.
Oh, she gets a single process haircut blow dry.
Okay, and what sort of problems might she run into with that? Or
So
challenges or what frustrations do you have clients that are those single process clients? What
the
frustrations do they
gray's not covering enough. I'm having it's fading too fast. It's not shiny enough. How about that kind of stuff?
Great, that's perfect. So now we know Ashley's frustrations, her pain points.
Yes.
What can we do to help serve her? What sort of suggestions could we give her? I'm relying on you here because I don't do color. I just cut hair.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Cut.
I'm going to talk to Ashley about, well, her gray is becoming more resistant. So we're going to talk about changing her formula if she truly wants to get better coverage and what that looks like for maintenance also. I'm also going
Maintenance.
to off maintenance.
Okay.
Yep. So she may need to come in more often. If we switch her coverage to something stronger, in Huvers, it's called Intense Naturals. It's a double dye load. If we're switching to that, that,
No shout
what'd you
outs.
say?
Yeah, I'm
So that
beeping that.
might,
I'm editing that out, by the way. No shout outs. Pay me.
okay. I don't know where you're going for with this.
What I'm
So,
looking is a way that we can communicate with Ashley to let her know that we're thinking about her.
so
So
if we changing,
reformulating is great, but
so
what can Ashley do at home? As a professional, what would you say to Ashley? And maybe a single process is not a great example of that. I don't know.
So maybe then we're talking about take home products that add more shine or help preserve the color better, things like that. Or it could be changing the formula. And then you're touching base with Ashley to make sure that the change in the formula worked well for her. How is she liking it? Is she seeing the difference?
Ding, ding, ding. There we go. So it can be as simple as touching base with the client. Now, that client is, I don't have the percents in front of me, but if you reach out to a client after their appointment, which is something that I don't know about anybody does, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you reach out to a client after their appointment to say, hey, I was just thinking about you. How is this working for you? Say you sent Ashley home with some products and you were like, I want you to try these. Ashley might think you're just selling me some stuff. You might even think I'm just selling her some stuff. To create some trust and build loyalty and to build yourself or establish yourself as an expert, if you reached out through text or email and said, hey, I just wanted to follow up, or even, if, God forbid, a phone call, hey, I wanted to follow up with you and just make sure these things were living up to your expectation. If not, reach out and we'll come up with something else.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? That's where
Yeah.
I was going with that. And if you're in the position where you're building a clientele, you have the time to do that stuff.
Oh yeah. I do reach out, and I will say Todd can vouch for me, like I'm busy behind the chair for sure, but I think part of the relationship I build with my clients, it makes it fun for me. And I do have some that I reach out. Sometimes it's even just about the conversation we had and they just see how they're doing. Like because I care, you know?
Yeah, I've done that as
It's
well.
just
I
probably why I
was
have
talking
clients
like,
that been with me for 25 years.
yeah, well, and that's why.
Right.
Because you're establishing a relationship. You're not just
Mhm.
looking at that person as like an automatic, which I feel like in
Right.
this industry a lot of people do. You get a
Oh,
client, they come in once or
yeah.
twice, and they're like, "That's my client."
Yeah, no,
Um,
you don't own people.
maybe they're your client, but
And maybe they're
maybe
half in,
not.
half out, and they just can't figure out how to leave you. Like, unless you are literally like whining and dining them, they're no, go away.
Yeah,
They're not yours.
customer service, and I'm not
Yes.
talking about going crazy and bothering people, but I'm talking about being a solution to the challenges they face throughout
Mhm.
their day. Um, sorry, I just blanked the point, but so we talked about after. We've had people at our salon in the past that are like, my clients never show up for whatever reason. They're always canceling. Have you ever considered reaching out to clients pre-appointment? What about a text message that says, "Hey, Cindy," I'm just picking all these random names.
Love it.
Well, let's get a guy in here. What about Bob? Okay. That was a movie,
All
wasn't it?
right. Hey, Bob.
So
I don't know.
you have a client, Bob. He's come in to see you a few times, and maybe he's canceled a couple times. I guarantee you that if you gave him a text message and not a confirmation text, like
Right.
something personal, "Hey, Bob, really looking forward to seeing you. It's always a good time. Let me know if you need anything before your appointment." Something like that. That
Yeah.
would blow people's minds.
Yeah.
Instead of just sitting around blaming Bob for not showing up, blaming the salon, blaming whatever, right? Everyone but yourself. What
Right.
action can you take? What can you do to make sure Bob keeps coming in? Now, maybe Bob has a lot going on. Maybe he's the CEO of some business and he gets called last minute to meetings and he doesn't really have a choice. He would rather be in your chair getting cleaned up. But here we are. That's the life he chose.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Bob needs another pool in the Hamptons and he can't miss those meetings. You know what I'm talking about? We have a lot of clients that are like, just busy professionals and
Yeah.
they have stuff going on. So we don't shame them when they miss appointments or have to cancel appointments or even sometimes forget. When I did personal training, I had a woman, she was a lawyer. She was on several boards. She was
Yeah.
like running for selectman or was
Extremely
selectman or
busy.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so she would cancel on me all the time. I never shamed her for it. And she would pay for the sessions as well.
Yeah.
Why? Because I treated her with respect. I didn't
Right.
go online and post passive aggressive posts at her. I don't even know if Instagram was around then, but
No, I don't think it was, but
I
yeah.
wasn't like, "Here's what you're taking away from my family." No one fucking cares. Like, stop your
Yeah.
bitching.
Start
Instead,
adulting.
yeah, instead, be a professional. Everyone wants to be a
Right.
professional. No one wants to do professional things.
Right. So
Uh,
true.
what else could we do for retention?
So I'd like to go back to it's kind of when
Okay.
I said the wine and dine and sort of going above and beyond for these clients. I think a lot of times someone might be listening and let's say they're trying to build and they're like, I think a lot of times people think it has to be a gifting situation, right? So like, why if I'm not busy, how would I gift my clients to get them to come in? Whining and dying in customer experience doesn't have to be anything else than showing up, having your hair and makeup done, looking the part, and treating and listening to your client as much as you can and just giving them your time. Like that alone will set you apart because someone might be listening like, I already do that. Well, you're not the norm because I can tell you there are clients that come in and they get rushed and they get rushed in and rushed out. No one's actually listening. Someone's already pre-formulated their color. Like they're not actually even giving them a consultation. They didn't give them a tour of the salon. They didn't show them where the bathroom was. Like these things cost you no money. It's just showing up and being a human and being a service provider for that client. And that will delight most of your clients. Then when they return, remembering some special facts about them. Hey, I heard your daughter was getting married. How was the wedding? Oh, you remembered that? Like it can be just in that experience of their appointment that you're just making them feel special, feel heard, and you're remembering certain things that they told you. If you're not good at remembering, then you need to take notes, put them in a system. Like, again, don't tell me all the things you can't do. It's taking that and making it the next level. And if you're like, that's way too much for me, then don't expect to build anytime soon. You are on a marathon pace, and it is going to take you a long time to retain these clients. And why is it so important to retain them is that becomes the foundation of your paycheck. If you don't want to live paycheck to paycheck, or every week you don't want to be like, how many clients am I have? I'm not making enough money. Then these type of experiences you give to your client when they come in, this is what gets them to come back over and over. And before you know it, you have lifetime clients like myself that are coming in not just for the hair. They're coming in to hang out, sit with me, chat. Some of them even just to be like, I want to see what your outfit looks like or your hair looks like this time. That gives me inspiration. Like, there's so much I provide, and it's just me showing up and being present in their appointments.
Yeah, I love all of that stuff. I guess it's just really about making the decision that you're going to be accountable for your trajectory.
Yeah.
And then it's taking action. And I talked about this recently too, but it's that compounding effect that you get when you take an action every day, when you do something
Right.
every day. And again, there are going to be people that are like, that's too much. Well, you're going to build really slow or not at all.
Right.
Because
Or realize you're the problem of why you're not getting where you want to be.
correct. And you might not even build at all. And the reason I say that is because people are stepping up their game. People are starting to realize that, wow, this is a customer service industry. I know there's some light bulbs going off at our salon when
Mm-hmm.
we get reviews, I get emails from people that are like, this was amazing, or this little touch, or this or that, or whatever. It's all of the little things. And we're not talking about amenities. Like, we're not making cappuccinos or drinks of the month or anything
No.
silly. We do hair, we have fun. Okay. We have some other services, skin and nails and stuff, but our focus is do hair, have fun. And because we sort of unapologetically focus on those things, we find the right community.
Correct.
And then what happens when you start to build a community is, what do people want? They want to feel like they're part of something. They want to feel like they're part of something that's bigger than themselves. And so
Mm-hmm.
people like coming into Hello because there's lots of other things going on, and they can be involved because that's
Mm-hmm.
the atmosphere that we've
Right.
curated. I'm
Yes.
sure there are salons out there, and maybe your last one was like this, where you walk in and no one even looks at you. We have someone that
Right.
we mentor that went to another salon for a service and said it was the most awkward experience ever, and I'll never go back because
Right.
no one would talk. No, like, other clients didn't look. It was like everyone was just focused straight
Yeah.
ahead. You have your stylists that are just focused like straight on their client. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. There are people that crave that. They want sort of cookie cutter, like, I guess, attitudes, looking at each other. I don't know. Maybe people want
Yeah.
that. Obviously, they have clients. So either their clients are confused and don't know there are other options, or they're choosing that. I don't know.
Right.
The people that we have come in that stay and are repeat clients that become extremely loyal are really fun people to be around. And they feel
Mm-hmm.
comfortable not only conversing with other clients and other stylists, but even seeing them. If someone is out or
Mm-hmm.
unavailable or someone's on a vacation, it's like, okay, maybe, Lauren's out. I'll see Gianna, and I'm just picking random people at our salon, but
Yeah.
I'm comfortable. I've talked to her before,
Right.
which is
Right.
that's another point that you bring up all the time too. By having these conversations, if somebody is out sick or if somebody's on vacation or somebody decides to leave,
You can
that
step in.
person, that client may become a client of yours
Right.
because you've formed even a little bit of relationship with that person. Even if you
Yes.
show you care, even a little bit, it
Yeah.
holds so much value.
Agree.
We had a wedding. I'm sort of rambling. Do you have anything to add here?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
You're doing great.
We had a wedding party that I had conversed with back and forth for a couple of months, and she came into the salon, and I was like, what can I do? I was driving by the salon, so I was like, what can I do that is like just a nice touch point, right? Nice something.
Mhm.
So my original idea didn't work out. I couldn't make it happen. No big deal. I was like, I'm going to at least stop in and say hello. I am the person that the brides, when they go through the website or whatever, communicate. That's all me. So I rarely, though, get to meet them because usually we're sending you or a team to go do their hair. I don't do that sort of service. I could probably learn it, I guess, but we have people that are way better than me. So
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense for me to tag along to that stuff. So I converse with these people and I get to know them a little bit and I get to know about one of the biggest days in their life. But that's sort of where it falls off. So I stopped into the salon and I just said hello, shook her hand, said, congratulations. I just wanted to meet you face to face and see if there was anything else I could do for you.
Right.
And
And again, that cost you nothing, no money, just your time, and just
10
to make her
minutes.
feel super special.
It was
Yeah.
10 minutes. I said hello to her and her party and made sure they were all having a good time, and they were. And then afterwards, she said that blew her away, that, the owner of the business would make a trip to stop in just to say hello. And it was like, yeah, you're our customer, you're our
Right.
client. And I want to make sure that we're living up to the expectation. And so it's little things like that you can do that now. I don't know if she's a client of the salon or not
I don't
regularly, but
either.
I don't believe she is.
I
I
don't
think
believe she is.
I have a bunch of weddings juggled, so I think she was recommended from someone that is a client. But either way, it's little things like that you can do that just stand out to people because everyone's not doing them.
Right.
And it makes it special and it makes it different. Now, what I want people listening to do is write down the things that Jen and I said today. Of course, try them out if you want. But what can you do? What would your perfect client want? What would blow your clientele away? And if you're
Right.
limited, say you only have a handful of clients, you should be serving the hell out of those people.
Yes.
You should be
So they're telling
kicking
all their friends
ass.
about
Yeah,
how well you take care of them.
exactly. And
'Cause
just like
everybody needs to get their hair done, right? Like, at some point, you need somebody to service your hair.
at
So if
some
your
point,
friends are talking about you all the time, here you are.
somebody's going to ask for a recommendation,
Yeah.
and friends and family recommendations hold way more weight than
Oh, yeah.
Facebook. When you go on Facebook and it's like, need a new hairstylist, 3, 2, 1, go. And it's, of course, 700 people saying
Oh my
that
gosh, it's insane.
their person is the best, which by definition makes 0 sense.
Right.
But that's how you want your clients to feel.
Yes,
You
yes.
want your clients. Now, I would argue there's probably 5 people out of 700 that's the best for that
Mhm.
person, right? You can be the best for your group.
So that is a scenario that I see often. And here's where what I see there most often, which is the stylist making it about them. So you see a Facebook post and you are trying to build. And what I see the stylists do, and I'm talking 9 out of 10 stylists, say, DM me and I'll for details. No, why don't you as a stylist be the 1 out of 10 message that person directly? Hey, this is where I work. I'd love to do your hair. You're now asking that person to come find you. You would go out of your way if it's customer service and you're really trying to delight this person and put yourself out of what everyone else is doing. You should directly message that person. This is where I work. This is my availability. Feel free to call the salon or like book online, however you want. But that's what would set you apart in that scenario. Don't follow what everyone else is doing. Just DM me, DM me. That's not helping that person. Like you have to think in that scenario, what's different than what everyone else is doing? And that would be taking the step to message that person.
We have someone on our team that did that, and she's built an incredible career.
Yeah.
And
Just takes that extra step.
She was just really active on Facebook. That's where she found her people. For me, like my group of people that I want, they're not Facebook people.
Yeah, I totally get that.
But if yours are,
Yeah.
she identified early on that the people that she enjoyed serving were on Facebook. That's where they hung out. Perfect.
Yeah.
And she went in on it, on all the community
Yeah.
pages, on all
I
the things.
just
And
it's
it
so
pays off because she
yeah.
took action and she was consistent. She did not sit around saying, I'm not building quick enough. I don't think I ever heard that from her.
Right. She
So
makes a major effort.
the second you say that is the second you start complaining, which is blaming other people. So she took action. She was proactive and she was, I might say, aggressive with it, which is how you should be if you want to build. You want
Yeah.
to build fast, you need to move fast. You need to be aggressive.
Right.
What
You
were you
need
going to
to
say?
serve a lot of clients. It's that mentality of like, I've seen people even in other things, like I see it often, and it goes right back to what you were just saying. It's all different scenarios. That Facebook one was one, but I see people like, how do I book with you? What do I do for this? And I will see on people's either Facebook or Instagram, they'll say, oh, DM me, message me, rather than answering them. I'm like, why are you trying to get them to work harder? They're asking you exactly what to do. And you're just like, oh, DM me. I'm like,
And you're
no, this is
creating a
where you would.
friction point. In business, it's
Right.
called a friction
And
point.
you have a thread going, put it right there so everyone else sees it.
Yeah.
It's just
Why are you
taking
so
that,
secretive?
taking the mindset of like, basically come to find me rather than like, let me help you, let me service you, let me make it so easy for you. You really just got to think differently like that, and you will see success. And if you're building a career and you're starting out, the more people you service will result mathematically in the more people that do stay with you. But if you're only doing one or two people a week, this is where it's going to take a lot longer. So the more proactive you can be, the more aggressive you can be servicing more people, it will help you create a clientele a lot quicker with a stronger foundation.
And start thinking about the demographics of people. I don't want to go crazy into it. We can wrap up in a minute.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
if you are, for example, it's Bowie barking out.
Mhm. I don't know.
For example, if you are servicing a clientele that's of age that they have children, make something about their kids.
Right.
When people treat our kids well, I think we talked about it last week. We'll go back to the restaurant, even if there's mess ups.
Yeah.
We'll go back
Yes.
to wherever. We just
Mhm.
will frequent places that take care of our children and make our children feel like human beings and not, a pain in the ass.
Right.
And I'm sure there's a million other examples, but make it about what the people are into, not what you're into. Have
Agree.
conversations that are at the very least two-sided, if not heavily on the other person, and listen to them, hear them out. They don't care that you broke up with your boyfriend or whatever. And I know someone just went, my clients care. Think about it. How
Maybe for a
often are
hot
you
second, the entertainment part of it is there, but then you better get over it real quick because you better turn it right back around onto them.
Well, we've seen that in the past, and people are like, I don't know why. I'm like, yeah, because your clients don't give a shit
Yeah.
about your personal life. They do to a point, like you just
Right.
said, but they're not when they're at home. Are you when you're separated, are you thinking about them or are you thinking about you? You're thinking
Right.
about you. Perfect. That's what they're doing too. They are not at home going, oh, Alicia broke up with her boyfriend. Oh my God, what are we going to do? So have conversations that are relevant, that are about the person. And I can't say this enough, but listen,
Yeah. I mean,
just listen, hear people out. And again,
easier said than done.
go back to the beginning of the podcast and solve problems for people. Just had this
Right.
conversation with one of our staff that wants to build a vivid clientele. Okay, great. So I said, come up with a list of like 5 to 10 problems that you hear the most about people have with Vivids. Sorry, that was like a jumbled sentence. And she created a list. And I said, great, we're going to sit down again and we're going to extrapolate from that list. And we're going to have you solve those problems for people over and over and over and over. And you're going to establish yourself as somebody that's giving relevant, good information. You become an
Right.
expert and you're going to start to see a return on it. Not just posting a picture of somebody with orange hair or whatever and being like,
Creamsicle.
tangerine. Yeah, that's not doing anything. Okay. Nobody cares.
I had to do that one. Sorry.
Creamsicle. Okay.
Yeah.
That was better than tangerine. I like tangerine. I'm kind of hungry. All right. Anything else?
No.
I think that was a lot of information. I feel like I
Yeah.
spoke as fast as you normally do.
Hey, I only have one speed.
All right. We will see you guys next week. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Bye.
Bye.